kicking it off with the ban phase.
Yeah, Fury starting on attack once again.
Look at this love in the chat. I love it.
Yeah. Nice banter. So what are we thinking here? Maybe Capitao? No, Jackal.
So Jackal, you know, give yourself a little bit more freedom on that roam. Capitao would be a certain possibility. Look, if I'm Fury, I'm considering banning Dokubu right now.
Oh yeah.
Dokubu is really good on coastline. Just, you know, flushing out those roamers, and also the ability to, you know, just a great kit. And if you've got a player on Zealous who's so good with it, you know, it's a decent ban, but look, it'll be in play. I hope we see more of it from Nazgul today, and they get rid of the Nomad instead, trying to prevent those flanks.
So what I do want to point out is that both these bans have been operators that each opponent's teams was bringing out quite a lot and making work. So, you know, this is kind of that adaptation we can see between maps here, as we are going to be followed up by a Valkyrie ban. That's the same as last map.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, Valkyrie even more so than Bank on coastline is just completely enables these aggressive plays, and it looks like Fury just don't want to have any of that from Zealous, especially those runouts outside. That said, you know, we saw a huge amount of Mozzie play on the previous map, especially from Fury. You know, Spruce, rather, playing downstairs a lot, made a really great effect of those the information gathering from those Mozzie drones, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see that brought in maybe as some kind of substitute for the lack of Valkyrie.
Yeah, well, looks like we're going to see Zealous started off in Hookah as their first bomb site.
Yeah, it's actually pretty common now in ANZ. I don't know why. You know, at one point it was kind of the least favored bomb site. But hey, I guess it's just come back. Mind you, there are a lot of good ways to take this bomb site. I think it's just that if you have such an aggressive team, you're going to have success on this bomb site. You know, assuming the other team isn't better than you. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, this... It sounds a bit strange, but, you know, these teams likely scrim a lot with a variety of skill levels of other teams in ANZ. You know, they'll scrim with teams that are much better than them, but maybe not as often as they'd like, and they'd probably spend a decent amount of time scrimming teams that they are better than. And it can be difficult to get a clear indication of really what's the ideal strategy to bring out when it comes to a close match or a team that you're facing that's better than you in theory or on paper. If you have mostly experience with facing teams where perhaps you're more likely to win gunfights, so you play more aggressively and you have a lot of success, but you end up, you know, performing worse when you get up against different teams, you know? I don't know if I'm making any sense there.
I kind of get where you're coming from, but if you're stomping teams, the bomb sites that you have more success on, you'd think it'd be fairly easy to see which one is better in that regard. But, you know, enough of that. You know, I'm just happy that Fury aren't bringing a gridlock, you know, like they were last week. Like, I really think the gridlock can be used, but not the way that Fury were using it last week.
Yeah, definitely agree on that one. Just they weren't using it to choke up these, you know, rotation points. They were just using it really to, I don't know, to try and flush out positions. It's just not that kind of operator. Striking downstairs, though, he's gone to the Mozzie again. We saw it last map as well from both teams. It's a good substitute for the lack of a Valkyrie.
Looks like he wants to get aggressive here after that barricade's been sprayed down, but surely Fury have sent a drone in, got a drone in, or they're about to drone it out. Like, Warden's not even aware of his presence, so maybe not, Dev. This could be a free kill here for striking. Where's the drone, guys?
Yeah, you don't just open up a door and then walk inside in Rainbow Six, especially when you've telegraphed it for so long. Here we have a drone, but really, too little too late. And you know what Mozzie likes? Drones. He's going to spot this out, yet still has 3 pests remaining. Don't think he did spot out the drone, actually, but meanwhile, Spruce does find this opening pick for his side. Very good coconut onto JCZ.
Yeah, 1 for 1 so far in this map here.
Sorry, what was Spruce doing just then? It looked like he was just lying on the ground.
Like, yeah, he's at a weird angle on the ground.
That is so weird. Okay, he was just droning, but he looked like a body or something.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's Fury stepping up now with Rock taking down Striking. That's the roamer we saw earlier in Office. Eventually was droned out and pinched. So, good work to salvage after that initial mistake from Fury. They brought the Capitao this round as well, so they can flush out some of these key positions, namely where Nazgul's playing inside a hookah. But it's the vertical play at the moment from Buck, which will be putting the pressure onto Zealous.
Thing is, they're not finding any of these angles though, Dev. And it seems like the defenders are having, you know, more success through the floor, and by success I mean they've spotted their opponents, haven't been able to land anything. But 50 seconds on the clock, Fury are going to have to definitely speed this one up as all. We've seen Nazgul go very low, and I think he might go down to this Captain Tower Bolt. No, oh yes,
wow.
There we go. Finally, he does. After the asphyxiation propagates properly, Serum's going to take some damage as well, and this is looking all like Fury's to lose right now.
30 seconds left though, and if we do see some cheeky picks from Zealous, the tide may well turn. Looks like they're attempting an execute. Jam though finds a spray through the smoke, and Shade goes down. Golden does have this diffuser, and it's an aquarium-sided push with just the one player on blue stairs, but it's an essential kill for Jam, doing so much work with the 416. He spots out the player on blue stairs. He finds that one too. Just Serum now, and Rock clutches it out. What was that, a 4K for the man?
Either way, that was a great round there from Rock. He's got the trade there, and then finally to close it out. Just a lack of information there from Zealous, or not able to relay it fast enough at least in those dying seconds. Serum looking completely the wrong way to where Rock was. As we are going to attempt Hookah once again here from Zealous.
Makes you a bit worried for Zealous. You know, Jam was the only thing that really kept them with a fighting chance in that round, and that was really just by finding some kills that I guess he shouldn't have. We see perhaps Zealous have more success on this roam. You could see, you know, they had the vertical play, you know, enabled by opening up that floor with this default plant spot, so that if Zealous did have that roamer below, they would have easily denied the plant. But striking was taken out so very early.
I just can't believe that, you know, Fury lost Warden immediately after that play that we saw early on. Like, that was pretty rookie, you know.
I don't know whether that comes down to coordination. You know, if Warden thinks, okay, guys, I have to take some initiative, I have to step it up, and I need someone to drone me, and then maybe no one called that they were going to drone, so Warden's like, all right, I'll just walk in. You know, did he need to just whip out the drone for himself, or did the team need to be more responsive?
Yeah, at the very least, drone it for yourself, whether you've called, all right, someone drone me into office.
Such a strange mistake from such an experienced player as Warden, who's been playing the Pro League since it started.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we can't dwell too much on it, and there was no harm, no foul in the end there. Dev, they did manage to convert the round, and, you know, that's the number that matters at the end of the day. Whether you survive or die, doesn't matter as long as you can win the round, really. And looks like he's on a drone this time.
Yeah, certainly learned his lesson. See this roam as well. Moved instead of from the office side, striking is playing much more freely. Does have this Nitro as well. So, an opportunity for... Okay, there you go. Oh, the drone's outside.
Oh, that's a big rip.
Feels bad.
That's the first time I've seen that kind of UI, though.
Yeah. All right, so the first pick goes the way of Zealous, with JC finding that one kill. Spruce now with that vertical potential, thwarted from that presence inside of the Sunrise Bar, and Striking just realizes he's been droned, perfectly baited into Warden's crosshairs. That's why you have one player drone and one player push, because Warden will catch you off guard.
Yeah, great adaptation from Fury, if that's what you want to call it, Dev. Oh, but there's JCZ to take that heads-up fight and shut Rock down.
Done a lot of work so far from Sunrise Bar, but Warden's trying to pinch him. Got this position inside of blue. A soft wall separates them, but there is some backup for JCZ.
Ooh,
Another player goes down. Warden still spotting out this position. JC is finally eliminated, but not without a huge cost to Fury.
Yep, Fury having to fight from behind in this one. We saw Zealous do it successfully down to a 1v1, but can Fury try and force it in their favor? Of course, you know, their whole push has just been completely shut down by the fact that they were unable to get their buck in below to start wreaking havoc from there. They are aware of the possibility of Cool Vibes stairs. I think there was one sitting on it for quite a while. Yes, Jam is still on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is so meta. I mean, you have to expect a player here on these stairs. Jam completely favored in this position. We can see the rotation of Warden was spotted by that camera upstairs. Looks like that's where both of the Fury players will move to. Telegraphed by the placement and the destruction of these cameras.
They are, you know, they're taking a bit too long. Looks like Warden might be about to enter a heads-up firefight here.
Oh, he spots out the player. What a kill. Great use of that drone on the roof. Serum will be really frustrated about that one.
They've brought it down to a 2-on-2, Dev. Although this time, they had a lot of trouble getting into this site earlier. And, you know, making their way through the smoke babes is going to be tough. Oh, that can't be a shot that you're missing there, Jam. But, dog, I think Golden might be just about to go down. Yes, there he is. So all up to Warden. He's got the one rights, dead to rights. Yes, finally got the triple. Can he get the 4K? No, Jam to close it on out. And we're going to see Zealous pick up their first round immediately after Fury.
Just barely salvaged that defense. Not sure what was happening with Warden. Bit of potato. He did find quite a few kills, but still just missed out. This was a beautiful kill, though. You know, that just shows how much information matters in this game.
You see Warden understanding drones there, Dev.
Yeah, he learned his lesson. Well, Zealous do get that successful defense, but you know, I'm not really sure what we're watching so far. Fury's take, I'm just, it's a bit weird. That's really all I can say. You know, what was the strategy? Take control of Sunrise Bar and open up the floor and then move into the bomb site and hope that everyone's dead? Just, it's a bit strange.
Either way, they are going to be defending Kitchen this time. Surely we're going to see a lot of resistance upstairs.
Yeah, well, Kitchen's one of those bomb sites where you can utilize that top floor presence for those holes in the floor, but you can also really have an impact by playing in the areas around the bomb site. You can control Sunrise Bar or Lobby. You really can have a huge impact on the bomb site itself, and if you open up the Kitchen in a certain way, you can even further that from some of the positions, even further away from the bomb site. It's like Golden's just grabbing himself a drink outside by the pool.
What is that? Oranges in there, I think.
I can see some limes, definitely. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for the good look, Golden.
Well, here we go. Action phase drone is going to be captured as well after it was getting pinged out there by JCZ.
Good teamwork. You know, players that hunt drones together, you know, they stay together.
Well, Spruce approaching the exit door nice and early on. Rock's taking a lot of damage. Is that from a spawn peek attempt or?
Must have been, I'm just not sure where.
Surely it wasn't that one from double window. It's so common these days.
Oh, it doesn't look like double window is open, but anyhow. Fury looking to take some map control now, just setting up some of the basics as a claymore. Watching that main door. Top floor control likely to be a heavy point of contest. Fury will want to take it, and it looks like Jam's going to be holding the top floor by just playing at the top of these main stairs. He has barbed wire and some reinforcements to help him out.
Yeah, I was a bit puzzled about the reinforcements on the theatre wall.
The weirdest thing is really the fact that, you know, they're not playing in theatre. They've made it look like they're playing in theatre with the barricades and such. Maybe that's just to telegraph information and delay time, but Warden could very well clean up Jam nice and early if Jam's not aware of this position.
Why not back that up with a mute?
Oh! Well, he's not backing it up with anything at the moment.
Yeah, he's dead.
That was really, you know, all that investment. 2 reinforcements, 2 barbed wire, and a player, you know, dead. Gone. Goodbye.
Fury bringing out the line themselves, Dev. It's something we spoke about and didn't see on map 1, I don't think at all.
No, it wasn't found either, but hey, I guess Fury have decided that they'll bring it up. On this map, definitely an operator that I think you can utilize to strong effect. Just that rotations, the mobility on this map is such a significant factor for the defense. You really can play so very fluidly on coastline.
It looks like Fury are lining up and getting ready to storm into the bomb site here, Dev.
On the back of this lion charge, they might try to make a move, but doesn't last for very long, and they don't really use that for anything in particular. That said, Rock does find one player through the floor. Nazgul goes down. Everything's looking really good for Fury at the moment. They do have these 2 roamers from the west side starting to retake, but looks like Fury are preparing for this plant.
Yeah, they aren't in great positions to try and deny any plant that comes out. Here's Zealous. Warden will find JCZ striking, going to try and make his way. Oh, but there's the barricade shutting him down. He's going to go for the run out. That's 2 lined up for him, but Golden will trade him on back, leaving it all up to Serum. In fact, Rock's still alive. Warden goes for the 1v1. Serum survives that and gets the frag. The picks, looks like Rock's picked himself up, in fact, and the plant denial can come out from this Echo drone. Is it going to be able to be for long enough? Has it been spotted? Yes, it has. So the plant's going to be started, but there's another Echo Drone. Can it get there in time? We saw the Buck jump on in. Plant's going down. Plant's going down.
Oh my God!
Serum is going to win the round with the Echo Drone, the 1-on-4.
Wow, I really thought that that plant was going to go down, but a very quick rotation from that Yokai, perfectly saving the rounds. My goodness, it was very close, but Zealous do pick that round up, and I really didn't think they would.
Yeah, me either, Dev. It was, it really felt like they should have seen that Echo Drone or Yokai coming along through the door, and we saw the Buck jump in through the kitchen window there, and that Echo Drone was right next to him. It's a bit of a pity that they weren't able to spot it out.
Yeah, crazy. I really thought that we would have seen the Echo, you know, with that first Echo Drone that he did have in service entrance, you know, use that first Sonic Burst to deny the plant and then drop the Echo Drone down because it was behind a shelf, so that Zofia wouldn't have actually had eyes on it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the plant hits 0, jump it straight back up to the roof and deny. That said, you know, that would have been my main critique if he hadn't managed to clutch the round, but he did.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it was by the skin of his teeth that he managed to get that rotation of the Echo Drone, but hey, it worked.
It really felt like Fury took quite a while to decide they wanted to push into the bomb site as well. Like, what did they do? They took top floor. You know, Warden found the kill in a jam. They were trying to find some kills through the floor, but they spent about 40 seconds just sitting outside, I feel.
And, you know, what really changed in that time? The only thing that changed is that Zealous decided to become more aggressive. And so they had the Mozzie who ran outside and got aggressive, and eventually they killed him. You know, it's a very risky kind of strategy. You're kind of just waiting for the enemy to think you're going to go for it and make a play, and then counter that play.
I think we need to see more of what we see Oddity do when they decide to hit a bomb site. They all go for the bomb site, and they all go deep as well. I think it's you know, something we don't really see as much that I think should be utilised a bit more as teams taking a bomb site and going deeper into the bomb site.
Well, talking about the sites, we've had 2 different ones seen now, Hookah and now Kitchen, and there were 2 consecutive wins, so we'll have to see a third. Now, Penthouse or Bar?
I'm feeling Penthouse. I don't think I've seen Zealous play in the
Bar, Sunrise and Blue, yeah.
In Bars, yeah. Even though that's a bit of a meta bomb site that we see, you know, internationally picked up, I don't think that's where they go, but they could.
Yeah, I feel like this team's more likely to just go with kind of the old school stuff rather than, you know, what's meta at the moment. And Penthouse seems to be a comfortable place. You know, you can play pretty much the same kind of operators we've just saw on that bomb site. You have the versatility. You can go for a VIP hold. You can go for a roam on the west side. You can go for a roam downstairs. You know, it's just so simple, tried and true.
It's a bomb site that we don't really see internationally too much either, but it's, you know, it's something that a team like Fnatic love pulling out.
Yeah, that's true. And then when they do that, they usually remodel it a little bit, go for that VIP hold or some such. You know, I think that the big question mark for me on if it is Penthouse is how will that Lion play into it? Because it's so difficult. You know, you can't obviously on that Penthouse and Theater bomb site. It's you don't really play anyone inside the Penthouse itself. It's not really possible to play inside the Penthouse. And that's where the plant usually goes down. So you have to leverage your positions on either VIP or more typically Theater to try and deny that bomb site. If you can prevent that, then...
I really think that, you know, instead of the line, you'd be better off bringing the Capital for that bomb site. You know, cut off line of sights with those smokes. Also, you know, burn people out of their positions. I think it's...
Yeah, and why not both, you know?
Why not both, yeah. You know, you've got 4 more operators to pick, so you may as well.
Yeah, I mean, you could just utilize both of those. I don't know, IQ, you know, clear out the bottom floor maybe, who knows, you know, you have a lot of options on the attacking side, and that's the scariest thing for me about Coastline. It can be really defender-sided if the defenders have a really good roam, but especially on those bottom floor bomb sites. But if you have an attacking roster, especially on a site like Penthouse, who are just so organized and really, you know, aggressive and have that utility that's going to lock you down like the Capital and the Lion, then it's terrifying to be on the defensive side.
Yeah, and so that's when you do have to resort to that aggression, isn't it?
Yeah, and, you know, the Capital Firebolt and the Lion charges, it perfectly counters that strategy. So, if you don't have, you know, C4 that's landing to deny plan, Echo Drones, Maestro cameras, if that's all been countered or used, then that's kind of the end of the rope for you. And that's where I think the weakness in Penthouse lies.
All right, so we're 3 rounds deep, Dev. How are we feeling this one's going to lie? Do you think if Zealous have got it on lockdown, or are Fury going to take it, or are we going to see another draw?
I definitely think we're going to see it a lot closer than what we've seen so far. The more rounds that we get on the board, the more rounds are going to be distributed either side of the either side. You
reckon it's more of you know, we'll throw the dart at the board and see which side it lands on for who picks up the round?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. Like that's surprisingly not far off with what I was thinking.
In this matchup, you know, across the two maps, I think it's been 2 clutches to Zealous and none for Fury.
Yep. Yeah, and look, Zealous on bank, when it came down to individual plays, Zealous is tended to be more impactful.
Nazgul.
Yeah, it was Nazgul, pretty much. That was it. And look, Fury, they did have moments, shining moments, where I think their support players really enabled something. And I want to shout out to Spruce. On bank, I thought he was doing a really good job as the Mozzie and also as the Twitch on the attacking side. Like, he was enabling these plays for his team and really supporting them with information. And information's meant so much. You know, information means so much in general in Rainbow Six. And we've seen these teams ban Valkyrie both maps. You know, that information just means so much. We're seeing the Mozzie being utilized to gather that. We've seen, as soon as you don't look for information, it's Warden who walks into a room without a drone, and that's, you know, that's the end of him.
I really, you know, we really need to ask in the interviews what happened there. Like, it was...
I don't know. It's going to be a sore moment, I think. Is he just going to be embarrassed? Do you really want to call him out for that? Like, at least don't open with that question. You know?
All right. We'll sandwich it in the middle.
Okay, good. Yeah, you got to you sandwich the bad stuff inside 2 bits of good stuff.
You guys are really good. Tell me why you did this.
That's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess that's talking about, you know, some of the things we want to ask these players. I don't know. What have we got? For me, Fury, the big thing is that they've had these roster changes recently. You know, they had pretty good performances. You know, last season wasn't amazing, but, you know, they still retained their spot in the Pro League.
Yeah.
And then they managed to perform pretty well in the Summer Series, get qualified for the Six Oceanic Cup LAN event, which was our national tournament here in ANZ. So pretty decent prize pool. They played on LAN against Fnatic and took a map off. That's pretty good. And then something dropped off.
I don't know. Like, you know, talking with the players, like, I know they, you know, had a lot of internal issues between the team. You know, they did end up, you know, deciding to replace Wings, and, you know, JCZ left the team as well. So there's a bit of upheaval there, but I think we are seeing them back on the rise.
Yeah.
I think tonight, looking at the players, I think the only one that's really been struggling was Rock.
Why is that, though? Because Rock is typically like the really aggressive player, the one who goes out of his way to, you know, get in the enemy's face. Is it because Zealous is just a team that's not going to let that happen?
Well, I think what we've been seeing from Rock tonight is he's been missing a lot of shots, hasn't he?
And that's the thing sometimes, I guess, with, you know, your star players, if they're just not on fire that night, it really...
Yeah, like, I don't want to be calling him out and being like, oh, Rock can't hit anything, but there's been a few moments where he's missed a couple of shots that he probably should hit. And, you know, even that 1v1 in the clutch that Nazgul got, the 1-on-3, he was aiming at the door, but Nazgul managed to hit the shot first before Rock. Like, he should have won that one. I don't want to call him out too much, but...
Yeah. So for me, the name of the game is that Fury have to be playing supportively in order to beat Zealous, and Zealous have to be popping off individually.
Yeah.
That's what it's coming down to for me. I mean, not that that's a reflection of these teams as a whole, because both of them, I think, are very... I don't know what I was going to say the word individualistic, but I don't know if that's the right word.
Individualistic.
I think it's not. Yeah, like they have individual people who's going to step up and make plays. I don't know if that's the right word, but it was the one that came to me. So, yeah.
We'll roll with it.
Yeah, both of these teams aren't like, you know, they're not like Oddity where they have, you know, 4 strats for every bomb site.
And contingencies.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think this is a team where, you know, we're going to see, you know, it used to be JCZ or Warden who was popping 20 kills at the top of the scoreboard, and that was why a team, you know, Fury was winning. And, you know, Nazgul popping off, and who was it? Nazgul and Striking last map popping off that kept Zealous in the game. I think that's what we expect to see out of these teams. Individual players having a good night and stepping up.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, like, Fury do have the possibility to do that.
Yeah. I don't think that that's still, like, a good way to really function as a team permanently.
So why is it fine for Zealous then?
I don't think it is. I just think that that's how I expect if they're going to win this game. Like, it's not a long-term trajectory. It's something that you can win. But as soon as if you're playing against Fnatic, the really top-level teams are going to shut that down.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And exploit the weaknesses. Like, if you're putting one player up on the, you know, to step forward and lead the way for the team, you know, there are 4 other weaknesses in the chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out. So let's talk about Zealous a little bit. So, you know, as a team that probably, you know, not a lot of our international viewers are going to know about, not a lot of our even local viewers are going to know about because they haven't played in the Pro League. You know, what do we have as a bit of a backstory on Zealous?
Well, it's almost like they are Pro League rejects, if you will. Like, I don't know, that sounds a bit harsh as well. No, I've been burning everyone tonight. But, you know, these are all players that have previously played on Pro League teams and, you know, have left or been kicked or whatever, formed their own team and, you know, they made their way through the Challenger League to say, no, we deserve to be here.
Yeah, and they only just scraped through the Challenger League as well. It was a very, you know, they were sitting, what, third place for the majority of the season, and then they beat Acme, who was the top team in the Challenger League. And that match meant that Acme didn't make the cut for Pro League, and Zealous did.
It was high drama.
It was a really high drama situation, and look, Zealous have earned their spot that way. So now that they're in the Pro League, they want to make an impact, right? They've got here, it was a struggle, but they've got here and they want to make an impact. On the Fury side of things, this is their second season in the Pro League. Yep. And you know, they actually have quite
similar
it's a bit of a Cinderella story actually for me.
You reckon? Like, I was going to say it's very similar to Zealous in the fact that, you know, they were all Pro League rejects as well. Came through the Challenger League, you know, well, I suppose they teared it up in Challenger League as opposed to Zealous just scraping through. And then, you know, they've cemented their spot in Pro League. Yeah,
that's right. I mean, the Pro League reject story is the one I want to go with because, I mean, it does sound bad, but I don't think it is. It's kind of a revenge tour. You know, you know, they were once called Team TBD. Fury, so they, you know, a lot of players from, you know, Mind Freak, you know, where else do they come from?
Well, we had, JCZ on, was it Zero Gaming?
Yeah, and same with, which now became Power Plays, and same with Shade once upon a... No, sorry. That was incorrect.
Striking was on... oh, wait, this is the wrong team.
Yeah. Nah, never mind. But look, Fury, we've had players who kind of just banded together. They were kind of like a star of different players from all these different teams who have really been like really strong fraggers. People were wondering, wow, like they're doing really well in Challenge League. How are they going to do in Pro League? And they didn't flourish in Pro League, but they also didn't drop down. So they did better than Power Plays and GIU.
Yeah, well,
yeah. And I mean, they retained their spot through that. They didn't even have to face relegation either. Like, they didn't have to go down into the Challenge League to play it out because we only had 7 teams in the Pro League last season on account of one team disbanding. And I think Fury, you know, for me, since then, it's been pretty well up, you know. They went from nothing, being 5 separate players, not having anything, you know, being removed from their previous teams, all banding together, you know, a flag of so many different colors, right? And then they come into the Pro League and... continuing from there, they make a LAN event. You know, they make our national LAN event.
Yeah.
And they take a map off Fnatic. You know, that's fantastic stuff.
Well, a Cinderella story would be if they win it.
Yeah, then they lost against Fnatic. And now kind of what's happened, we haven't really seen much out of them.
Reality slapped them in the face, didn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's when the roster changes happened. So we saw JCZ leave, and he was their star player. You know, him and Warden were the players that stepped up.
Yeah.
And then we saw Wings being now removed onto sub. Some internal issues potentially, and Golden brought onto the roster as his replacement. It's there's a lot of question marks as to Fury's future.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, I did say, and, you know, I'm going to say it again, I think they're up on the rise. You know, I did pick them to win at least one map tonight. So, you know, I really think they've got this one in the bag. Like, that last round that we saw really should have been theirs if they could deal with those echoes.
All right. So you reckon it's going to be what? Is it going to be the fact that we'll see Fury win more defenses than their attacks, or are we going to see the comeback right now in this half?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't we see Coastline traditionally fairly defensive sided?
It depends on the band.
It depends on the band.
It's a pretty even map. But yeah. Anyhow.
Well, you know, I just believe that Fury have got what it takes, and you can't rely 100% on Nazgul to be stepping up every time.
Yep, fair call. So, Zealous will in fact defend this penthouse side, and speaking of Nazgul, he certainly won't be stepping up this round. Spawn peeking smoke. You know, that's not something you see every day for good reason.
It was a common thing when you had the ACOG on the SMG-11, right? But
those days are long behind us.
Oh yeah, they are. So, I don't know, immediately Zealous are at a man deficit here. So they are in penthouse, by the way, Dev, might I just point out.
Yeah, I know. You were right.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they're going to touch bars at all.
You have to have a lot of coordination, and you just have to be really reactive on your teammates if you can defend that bomb site. You have to be reaching really far.
The only ANZ team I've ever seen really take bars is August.
Yeah.
Warden will find, who was that, striking. So, you know, it's 1 minute down and Fury are at a 5-on-3 man double advantage here.
You're not a great starting point for Zealous. As we can see, the Capital was in fact brought for this attack. You had mentioned to be one of the linchpins. If we can see him repel later onto the window, that big window of Penthouse, there's a lot you can do in terms of cutting off these long angles as well as preventing any kind of push through them with those asphyxiating bolts.
And look at how much denial Zealous have now. All they've got is the Echo Drone. The Bandits actually got barbed wire rather than C4. And I think that one was spotted out. In fact, it is going to fall through the hatch, so that's one less that's going to be on the bomb site, I suppose.
And the fact that we've had the smoke taken out first from Zealous means that Fury really have to leverage this extra time that they have. You know, typically, as a smoke playing for plant denial, what he essentially is a free 30 seconds for the defense. So now a minute left. Some utility will pour out for Fury. Serum, wow, being pushed back into theater. This plant going down, and there's pretty much just about nothing that Zealous can do to prevent it from happening. That a flank may well help out. Plant does go down, but Zealous do fight back somewhat, turning this into a 3 versus 3 with one on the ground.
3-on-2, yeah.
Shade looking out for information, and there's a player trapped inside a penthouse being peeked by multiple players. And what is this retake for Zealous? It's all on Warden, and he has 3 players to find. They're in an advantage, and they can just jump out. And I'm not sure what that was, Monkey, but it won Zealous the round.
It was individual brilliance once again, Dev. It's just winning heads-up gunfights when they shouldn't be. Fury, hello?
I mean, that was, what, 3 versus 5 plant down?
Yeah.
That should never happen. And they didn't lose a single man. No individual peaks and peaking together. Fury just put themselves into a corner, really, inside of Penthouse. Didn't have anything to fight back with. And Zealous, I don't know, Monkey, you're still putting your money on Fury here, but they do seem to be trailing behind.
It depends on how much this is going to, you know, mess with their mindset, I suppose. Are they able to cope with losing a round like that, or are they going to, you know, start on that downward spiral?
I don't know. We're talking about Fury here. I think, you know, if we have many teams in the Pro League who I think are more likely to be affected by that mental game, I'd probably put Fury up there. You know, we were talking to Itby Style from Mindfreak last night, and he had mentioned, you know, they won the first map against Oddity, and then the second map, they really, really struggled, and Oddity fought back and took it for their own. And he really mentioned that it was the mindset, the attitude, and where they were at mentally that lost them that round. Lost them that map.
They were mind freaking out.
They did certainly mind freak out. But my question is, you know, if the frustration of Zealous winning this round, is that going to lead to some serious fury? I don't know. That was a bit more of a stretch.
All right. Maybe infuse Fury with some, some zeal.
Zeal? Yeah.
Zeal is the word.
No, not zealousy.
Zealousy.
It's all right. We make up our own words here.
Half of the Australian language is made up words. It's a mixture of English and Australian.
That's right. All right. So attack now for Fury. They've been put on the back foot. Even when they put their best foot forward and do get the plant down, as we saw previously, it really does, you know, leave a lot to be desired.
What do you think Spruce is pinging out in that corner?
A drone? Is he saying, can you drone for me? Or is he saying, I hear a drone here? Not sure. I think he was asking for a drone to come in. There is, in fact, a yokai in that doorway. Striking, though, does find that first kill. Takes down Warden. I wonder if that was Warden just walking into the building without a drone ahead of him again.
Well, striking was kind of towards office, so potentially exact same position. I don't think so, though.
That'd be
no
tragic.
Way.
So, looks like Spruce... Oh, okay, he does spot out that yokai. Nice. Finally taken down. So Spruce has some information here. He has a plan. He wants to move forward in and clear out Sunrise so he can get this vertical play going. But JC is holding very fast down in this area, but Spruce does take him out with a nade. That's a good refrag, quite literally. But Fury have lost 2 players as well. Meanwhile, Rock goes down. Spruce, though, stepping up here. Zealous put onto the back foot. Oh. What a position from Nazgul, but a bit of a delayed reaction time. It's a very aggressive peek, and he pretty much loses that gunfight.
He was caught with too many targets to shoot at and couldn't quite decide which one he wanted there, Dev. Well, Jam and Nazgul with 1:20 to try and hold on down. So one of those is the smoke, still with 3 gas babes in his pocket.
We may well have some of this area denial utility from the attack still as well, with that frag grenade that may well reside in Spruce's pocket, and those Capital bolts still untouched. Looks like Fury are setting up well in this late round. They know they have the man advantage, but Nazgul wants to go for this run out, take out the player on the window, but he'll go jump straight into that Claymore. Just Jam left. We've seen him pop off with the 416, but it's a lot of work to do. 45 seconds.
I think it would be kind of classic Fury to lose this one here, as that's going to be a freebie for Jam as he finds Shade on the rappel. 38 seconds as they're going to try and start forcing this plant down, but that means it's going to be a 1v1 while the plant is going down here, Dev. They know of his position, and he is still full HP. There we go, plant started. The pre-fire is going to come out from Jam, but nothing hit landing, so that's going to be plant confirmed. So now it's the 2v1. He tries to take the close angle, but once again, no shots landing. That one will, though. 1v1 now. Jam to find his own 1-on-3 clutch, definitely in potentiality here. Spruce has already done a large amount this round, and he's gone below. Can he find the denial? No, it's going to be the round for Zealous. That's another clutch to put into their belt. Zealous go 4-1 up here, Dev.
And I mean, I like the idea from Spruce. He thinks, look, I'm Buck. I can just go below. We already have some holes open. We can deny this defuse, but really doesn't work out for him. Jam a 1 versus 3 clutch. I mean, that first kill was perfect, wasn't it? You know, Fury thought, okay, we just killed a player to this run out from our Claymore, so they can't run out from there, you know? But, you know, that one player's died. The Claymore's already been exploded, and Jam knows that. He just peeks out, gets that first kill, and then really it just came down to a question of the gunfight in the second one, and a bad read from Spruce for that final one. There's got to be some tilt factor setting in for Fury right now.
3-0 clutches in this series between the two teams.
It just goes to show, you know, Fury, they may have some good team play, but Zealous have been really stepping up on them.
Oh, yeah. Well,
it's a return to kitchen now for Zealous. The last defense round, what are we going to look at? A 4-2 split? You reckon that Fury can win 5 rounds on defense?
Look, if Fury lose this round, I think it's definitely a sign of tilt. Like you know, this round they were 3. What was it? 4v1 last time?
Yeah, I think so. 4 versus 1.
Which was one, of course, off the back of the Echo drone.
The
funny thing is, right? Sorry to cut you off there, but that round was won by the Echo drone, which Warden, playing the IQ, went to take the 1v1 fight with the Echo and died.
Yeah. Right
towards the end. Like, he could have shut that round down completely if he'd found the Echo drones on his IQ scanner.
Yeah, really a utility mindset is what we need to see from Fury. I don't know, Warden is a player to talk about here. I've been, you know, he's been such a good player in the ANZ scene for such a long time. We talked about him as being the standout for Fury on this roster, but we just haven't seen him pop off today. We haven't seen what we'd expect. If anything, these days it's Shade who I'm really looking at for the big plays from Fury, and I don't think I've seen much out of him in this series either.
Well, I suppose, you know, looking at Warden, like we saw one almost clutch, and I suppose that's really the only highlight we've seen from him in this matchup. It's not like he's, you know, not doing anything. It's just he's not performing at that extra level that we kind of expect to see from him.
So just a slow round so far. Once again, we do have this presence upstairs from Zealous, but it's really just pigeonholed onto that southeast side. Fury aren't going to worry too much about that. They'll just open up the floor. They did find a couple of picks from that last time. Wow, striking. Wants to open up some of these holes into Aquarium from the office. Decides better of it. He doesn't want to reveal his position this early.
Looks like Zealous are playing it how you were talking about, you know, off the site. Trying to take those angles. Oh, Warden can't quite land the shots on the proning Serum. In fact, Serum's still alive somehow, but just 1 HP to his name. Jam's well aware of Warden's position and wants to capitalize off it from a bit of an off angle.
It's a quiet point in the round at the moment. 1 minute left. We could see, you know, of course, in the previous round, it really came down to time that won it for Zealous and that Echo drone. Fury need to make a move on. They want to make sure the same thing doesn't happen again. Nazgul is in a good spot, but last time he was taken out from above. Seems he's safe from that moment.
Yeah, 48 seconds. They're going to have to go pretty quickly here, Fury. Remember, last time they attacked here, it was a 3v5 in the first minute?
Oh, no! That was so terrible from Nazgul. He misses that gas and then distracted. Rock takes him out from above. A good pre-fire through the floor. That's the smoke gone down. That really was an operator that could have made a huge difference here. Serum's hidden his yokai.
They can't leave it late once again here, Fury. If they are on the bomb site, I think he might have been spotted on out there. At least now he will be. Beautiful stuff. That's Warden using that utility that time there. There we go. Kill is going to start to rain down as Serum has found Shade. So that was the plant deny, but it's going to be picked back up. Oh, no! See the run out the front, but oh, Jam hasn't seen that Claymore. JCZ's going to compound that, but, you know, no one's here. He has been detected. I think he is dead. And, you know, all right, there's the first one, Dev. Can you find the second one? There's no way he wins this.
Outside, completely detected.
No, okay.
Warden knows as he peeks. JC is shut down, and really the big thing for that round from Fury was the fact that Warden actually took out that yokai. It was a bit of, and also, you know, the fact that the smoke was shut down. You know, if that smoke had been allowed to stay alive and use all 3 of his smoke grenades, then there would have only been 10 seconds left that Fury could have gone for the plant. And at that point, you really, like, that's when things get desperate. So shutting down that plant denial in both the smoke and the yokais, that was the round for Fury.
Yeah, but looks like we're going to see Nazgul on that Ash, Dev.
I don't think he's earned his Ash license this game.
No, he hasn't been stepping up as huge. It was, what, Jam with the clutch and Serum with the yokai clutch, wasn't it?
There you go. The team said, come on, Nazgul, you don't have that many frags, mate.
You don't want to get pulled over by the cops, do you, mate?
Can I bring that Dokkaebi instead? We saw how much damage he can do on the Dokkaebi, though, especially with that SMG-12 in close range. You know, those calls meant so much on Bank.
He had such good recoil control with it as well.
Yeah, it's a difficult weapon to use. That vertical recoil control, you know, you can control that by pulling down, but the thing that really becomes hard, even for pro players, is that horizontal recoil control. And sometimes that just comes down to the range of your engagements. It really has to be a close range one.
Well, first defense round for Fury is going to be in hookah. You know, pretty well copying. How Rock's taking 50 HP. I think it must have been Shade that did the damage with his shotgun setting up, because that is not a great position to start this round for.
And Rock's a player that's always going for those aggressive peaks as well, so he wants his HP so he can survive those engagements. He is going to go for a spawn peak. Lands 1 round. Decides it's time to hide away so doesn't get punished.
Yeah, very close there, but no, close is not close enough, Dev.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Fury also was Warden testing out a yokai drone placement at the start of that round inside of hookah. He put Shade right up onto the bomb, planning in that default position, and tested if the yokai worked, and I assume it did because he kept his yokai in that position. So we do have some level of plant denial from Fury.
Things behind this bar are about to get very, very tight as the Habana charges are going to go off. Not denied at all by anyone. So as we see, I think it was Shade that was in that position, has completely moved.
It's only 1 minute down though. Looks like striking. Searching out for some of this utility downstairs. I'm not sure whether he's aware of a pulse. Could be just looking for those yokai drones. The Dokkaebi is a very good operator on this site, you know. Pushing from that aquarium side, you've got the smokes. Can make a call as well. So you'll have that audio cue, but missing the Capitao may well hurt them as well.
Look at Fury's health bars now. A few of them have taken some damage. Shade as well. Only striking on the Zealous side has taken anything. See that pest set up down below to make sure no drones could access blue bar from the door there. And I don't know if Zealous are going to deny any roams down here, Dev.
There's a huge amount of roam presence, isn't there? Look at this, 4 players inside of Aquarium right now. These smokes from Zealous being returned by smokes from Fury. Oh, and Nazgul did spot out that yokai underneath the table as well. He's going to try and find the angle, and he will. That's the yokai down. Good job. The last yokai was last seen downstairs. Call and a smoke grenade. The final smoke grenade goes out for Zealous. There's a position underneath, and Rock uses that to deny this plant position. Nazgul just sprints into his death. Jam opens up the first kill for Zealous, but I don't think they'll find much more.
Oh, big play there from Serum. It is just
What?
Rock now, as Serum is going absolutely mad. Rock's going to have to retake from below, of course, but Jam and Serum have bomb site in their favor. They don't want to plant on some of these kill holes through the floor, and, you know, Serum should win this duel as soon as he sees Rock's head pop up here.
Oh, but Rock's actually might cross into Hookah. No, recoil doesn't work in favor of Zealous player. Rock's in a decent position to attempt this. 2 to find though, and he's so very low on HP. Jam eventually takes him down, and how does that happen? You know, everything was looking wrong for Zealous on that entry. They lost their plan, so they lost their entry into the bomb site, and then everything turned around.
And the thing is, they didn't even clear below. How did those players die down there? I'm not quite sure. In fact, Rock was the last one remaining, but I don't know. Fury were in a position to win that one and somehow managed to see it slip between their fingers.
How are you feeling now? We're looking at one more round, and Zealous guarantee themselves at least the draw, and it's looking pretty good for a win here on their attacking half now.
I believe.
You believe?
I believe.
Still believing. Look, for Fury?
I'm bottom of the leaderboard in predictions, so you know, I gotta believe.
You gotta stick to your guns, hey?
Well, they're going to attempt Hookah once again.
Yeah, I think that, you know, where was it that Serum came from? Was it from Hookah? Sorry,
from the hallway.
From VIP hallway, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I guess, was that just an angle that Fury weren't aware of, weren't watching? They didn't have a Legion mine there?
So what
they didn't
happened
have
is
barbed wire?
there was all these flashbangs coming on over, and they were, I think it was Golden and, who was it? I think it was, might have been Spruce. Both fully flashed up, and the kills just, you know, came on down.
Sometimes, you know, you see upon an execute, these flashbangs just thrown into the bomb site without, you know, a lot of intention. You know, it's kind of just, I'm just going to suppress noise, I'm going to burn ADSs and maybe suppress the other team a little bit, but that's a perfect example of how effective it can be. And it really was the telling moment for the round. It wasn't going to go the way of Zealous, and then, you know, that entry from Serum saved it.
Well, let's see if this round can be different as we see the shots coming through the front door, of course, to take out that camera. Pretty stock standard, Dev. And the front door left alone for now.
So might Zealous try the same thing? It looks like at the moment there's some Hookah presence, or Hookah balcony presence. Nazgul playing there at the moment. Now we saw a strategy from Fury where they would always take this sunrise bar and use that vertical play using the buck. Zealous droning out Sunrise at the moment, but I don't think that telegraphs the same kind of push. They do really need to flush out this downstairs presence. As we can see, Spruce, the Mozzie playing inside of the office. We saw this similar kind of thing from Zealous.
Looks like that's what Nazgul's doing down here. He's going to be holding this angle, just waiting for Rock to move from the kitchen. In fact, they might be pinching on him. JCZ looking like he might be coming in through delivery.
And really all JC's job there is just to, you know, scare Rock a little bit, get him to flush into Nazgul's crosshairs. Nazgul does spot him out, lands one round, but I think he was just barely asleep. Now Fury have the information on the position of that Dokkaebi. Nazgul's going to call. Oh, but that Echo drone does spot him out as well. Nazgul completely suppressed now. A spray through the wall will help as well to flush Nazgul out of Sunrise. He'll turn tail.
Yeah, and Rock's going to be able to actually escape from his position where he was locked down in kitchen, if he so chooses to, of course.
Looks like there is a rotation now from Zealous to go for this aquarium side push, but we saw how much that position downstairs can really negate this push, especially with the holes that have been enabled and the C4 from Spruce. C4 kill
double.
finds 2, double. 2 essential players taken out for Zealous, and Fury looking good in this round. That single play making such difference. Trying to flush out this position behind the bar now. He gets sprayed through the floor, but Zealous won't have any clue.
Yeah, they won't. We can still see him looking for someone. Looks like Nazgul might go and clean up this kill, though, of course. But, you know, 30 seconds on the board, you know, Zealous are going to win this one. I can just feel it once again.
You reckon we're going to see a 2 versus 4 clutch? And Nazgul isn't even sure that they killed that one player in office, so he's worried about this flank downstairs, and that hesitation may well cost him. And he eventually does get taken down on the blue stairs. Just JC left, full information on him, and Fury have a flawless round. Was it really flawless with that player down in office? I'll leave that for you to decide.
It still counts according to the computer dev.
Computer's always right.
Yeah, computer wouldn't make a mistake.
Computers never make mistakes.
There
is only human error that makes incorrect results from a computer.
It's the good thing about computers is they do exactly what you tell them to do.
Even when you tell them to do it wrong.
Yeah, the bad thing about computers is they do exactly what you tell them to do. Yeah, big double there from Spruce through the floor. Oof.
I think that was exactly what Fury told him to do.
What, you think Spruce is a computer too?
Look, I'm not saying anything. Wink, wink.
What?
Maybe the Australians had their own cyborg. No, that'd be Virtue. Let's be real.
I don't know what you're on about, but okay, let's focus up here. Kitchen, of course, as the second choice. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Fury's third was Penthouse, very similar to how Zealous have been playing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Interesting to see the Rook come out, though, Dev.
Yeah, not an operator we see a lot of. In fact, we also almost saw a Blackbeard. No, Fury are a team that have brought the Rook out a lot in the past. Usually it's Warden, though. You know, trusty fragger. Just help out the rest of the team with a little bit of armor. You know, a lot of these teams, you know, Zealous and Fury both seems to be coming down to gunfights, so there's that. Rook may well have just the slight difference, the slight upper hand in those gunfights.
Jam making sure his drone gets in the optimal spot in the aquarium. The most difficult angle to spot. Now he's going to put it right underneath the lounge there.
I just love that spot up top. So nice. I just love good drone placement. Sometimes the, you know, the coolest drone spots aren't always the most effective, though.
Yeah, and Warden, he's going to win a fight onto Serum. Where was that? Through the front door?
Yep, through the front door. Some holes open, and Jam picks up that diffuser, but that's all the hard breach gone from Zealous. Not that you really need it as much on Coastline, maybe except for the fact that...
Oh, the timing there.
Yeah, you don't really need the hard breach here, but...
No.
So there's not a huge loss except for the fact that it's, you know, a player and a good gun. So here we have Zealous on this take upstairs.
Looks like JCZ's taking half his health and damage, but striking will put Spruce down. That's the Mozzie that was playing on the stairs. Is this going to be Zealous just going for a bit of a, you know, a hard push right to the side?
So far it's just the top floor, but that's the thing.
I thought it was Pen, because we were talking about Pen earlier. My bad.
No, see, we saw a very similar defense strategy from Fury as we saw from Zealous, you know, that one player at the top of the stairs, but it was really easy to clear him up. That said, we did have one on the stairs itself who got that first kill. Nazgul may well find Rock in a moment. If he gets flushed into this position, he does get flushed, but Nazgul just misses that first shot. He has some
1 HP.
Stuns.
He's dead.
This Capitao should finish him off. Rock there, a dead man. Look into that fire. There he burns.
JC, meanwhile, did find a frag, but he has taken even more punishment for it. Just the, what, 3 HP, 4 HP to his name?
It'll be very dangerous if he does fall into a goo mine. We saw how tragic that was for Zealous on the previous map.
There's Golden throwing one down right now. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of a flank here, Dev.
Yeah, of course, it's a risky position when you only have 2 players up and ready. But there are so many positions where you can deny this bomb plant, especially with that Echo drone. Of course, we saw how valuable that was when Zealous demonstrated it in their clutch. But Zealous at the moment, stalled out. which will allow Golden the time to make this flank that he needs. But he's droned out.
Oh no. He's going to have to rotate as quick as he can back to the bomb site. All right, we still have the Echo drone up, so we saw how clutch that was earlier. Looks like Nazgul stepped in a Gumon on his way there. Looks like one of those Yokais will be spotted. Oh, this is some unfortunate timing to jump on your Yokai here, Warden.
Risky position as well, spotting on those Yokais, making him lose them. What a shot! JC gets himself into this strong position, peeking onto Golden, but Golden wins that fight. 2 more to find, the plant down. He has an inkling of where that player is, and Strikeling, after getting the bomb down, gets that round on the board. Things are looking really grim for Fury.
You know, this is what I'm on about, Dev, that, you know, Fury looks so good on paper, and, you know, they look like a team that should win. And tonight, how they've played, I think they've played better than Zealous, like, as a team.
As a team, yeah, on Bank in particular, I saw a lot of good team plays from Fury, but still, like...
They just don't put up the results, do they?
They're making some crucial mistakes, though, and Zealous are punishing those.
So what was the mistake they made in that round, Dev?
I mean, where was the plan denial? I mean, they were just constantly pinging that, you know, they lost they lost their players so early. You know, Rock upstairs as well, completely pinched, no refrag potential. You know, that first pick onto the player upstairs, you know, those roamers had essentially no impact. That's 2 free kills.
I just find Fury such a frustrating team to watch sometimes, like...
Yeah, I mean, they get that spawn peak, that early man advantage, and it amounts to nothing at the end of the day.
It's like, they've played better, but it looks like they're going to lose here. And you're looking like you're going to be right. That's what I'm most upset about.
Yeah, I know. It's alright. We all have to be right sometime.
I suppose I'll give you this one.
So, same attempt at this bomb site. Couple operator changes, no more Yokais, no more Echo. So no Echo, no Maestro, no Mira. You know, that triple threat of anchor operators, which all have fantastic information and potential for plant denial. One of them's banned, but the other 2 aren't even selected here. Looks like Fury going to lean even more into this roam potential. Alibi seems to signal that. Alibi, Mozzie, really great operators for, you know, preventing some of these pushes on the roam. But this position at the top of the stairs, like, it's just been so fruitless. They're just pushing into luggage and taking you out, you know?
So why are they trying to hold on to it so much? Is it so they can keep control of Penthouse, you reckon?
It's primarily so that you have that opportunity to flank Penthouse and so that you can delay time on this top floor. Here, I do like these alibi picks.
Nazgul very committed to opening that one up as Shade's going to take up the Walker position. Surely that's, you know, a lot of teams call that as Walker.
Surely. There's a Mozzie drone, gets spotted out by the IQ scanner. So now Serum can't actually go through the doorway at all.
Well,
Thatcher grenade used to just take out one pest. Wow, really shows the value of that utility.
Yes, it definitely does. As the drones are going to come on out. Looks like that stairs position has been fallen off of by Fury, so we're not going to be seeing any peaks up through the top of the stairs.
And Spruce is downstairs, just roaming. So is Shade and Rock. So 3 players from Fury, all very close, but not sure what the refrag potential is.
Yeah, only 1 person actually on the bomb site for Fury.
Still, that's fairly common for Coastline.
Yeah.
Especially among teams that can trust their roamers to make these flanks, to make the difference. Fury may well get caught off guard, though, if Zealous are watching these rotations. The one good thing about playing so few players on the bomb site is that Zealous can open up all the floor they want. They'll barely find anything. Players now moving into the bathroom. 2 of them spotted here by that drone. 2 players still on this roam. Where's the pinch from Zealous?
Yeah, they're definitely taking a lot of time, but you know, at least this time they've got some top floor control and they've opened up quite a lot of angles through the floor. Shade will find Nazgul as the first one. It's that main fragger shut on down, and look, Shade just getting very aggressive there with the peaks, isn't he?
There's a huge amount of utility lost as well from the loss of that Capital. And I don't think there's much information left from Zealous, because you can see how aggressive Fury are getting, and with no information, Zealous may fall into their hands. Oh, such a narrow position. JC spots out 1 player and finds him. Shade still aggressive, gets another one. But Zealous have evened up the man count. Still, Shade's so aggressive. In this position, he can do so much. He's got the bomb on the ground now. The diffuser, rather. Is he going to get another one? No way. He doesn't deserve this. Surely no, he's punished. And there you go. JC gets one. There's no time to go for this revive. What? They're going to go for it anyway. Risky, risky. No more time to go for this plant. They have to get it going. And that Leisure Mine may well make the round. No! The Thatcher doesn't go for the plant, and Fury win it on time. No Echo Drone required to deny that plant. Zealous defeated themselves.
Well, Dev, when it was score 4-6, isn't it? 2 more rounds left in it potentially, or just the one if Zealous can convert it. You know, if we did see another draw, I really would not be surprised here.
Yeah, I mean that round right there, so much potential for Zealous. And then you really saw the fact that they didn't have any information on that alibi playing so aggressively in the objective, and the fact that then, you know, they didn't quickly enough get into the bomb site. Oh, they were punished so much. And Shade really, you know, he read the situation well to play that aggressive when they had so little information. And he's going to flex into that even more, not only the Mozzie for drone denial, but also the mute. And I think that could really work against Zealous.
Yeah, there's only the 3 Thatcher grenades for them to use. Although we are at Hookah this time instead.
Yeah, we saw how much this vertical play can come into it. In the end, though, really, when Zealous won this round on this bomb site, it was just from pushing up, getting aggressive. Those flashbangs enabling some entries to clear out these key positions. Very unexpected. Fury certainly weren't prepared for it. And I think this information gathering is really the key to making those plays for Zealous. So denying that from Fury is certainly a good read, and I like it.
Well, it's almost like Zealous have been as sloppy on the drones as what Fury were in some situations.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's being denied, though. And it's difficult to read, like in that position last round.
Oh, here we go. Run out. No one's over here, though.
Still, that shows their hand. Zealous would know how aggressive Fury are being, and that always puts you on the back foot a little bit. Let's see, though. Where will this push come from? Fury, you know, obviously still having a lot of roam presence downstairs. Typical of their defenses so far here on this bomb site, this Hookah site. For me, the big question for Zealous is, you know, when are they going to start to leverage this utility a bit better? I really don't feel like Nazgul, even when he was playing Dokkaebi, his smoke grenades made much difference.
Yeah, like, well, was he even bringing the breach charges? Like,
no, he was bringing the smoke grenades on the Dokkaebi.
Yeah, we weren't seeing them go down at all, were we?
Well, even when they did go down, they just weren't effective at all because Fury would just reply with a smoke grenade. We don't have any at the moment because Shade switched over to the mute, but Zealous don't know that Nazgul last round died without even using any of his incredibly powerful utility from the Capital.
Well, it's going to be some information gathered there as Shade will find Nazgul as the first pick. Dev, you know, talking about lack of utility usage, I think that's going to be a real kicker there as Warden's got the information as to the position of the Hibana. He's going to call it, blow it now. There we go. Spruce shuts him on down, putting Fury into a 5-on-3 man advantage.
So perfect. Fury really stepping up here, and Zealous, there's really no reply. Nazgul being shut down, we saw on the previous map, he was the man to step up, and at the moment, he's just fallen down every single time.
Well, we're going to see the prone peek towards the Echo Drone from the IQ striking. Oh, they saw each other. Looking at each other across the room. Neither of them taking any shots, however, as I think they were both putting away their utility as they got on up.
JC, if he tries to push aggressively, he's a dead man. Someone hiding just near the... Let's look at Spruce. You know, Mozzie, being such a short person, you know, takes up less of a profile. And that's a sneaky little trick. We'll get Spruce a kill. Desperate attempt now for Zealous, and looking away at the wrong time. Not a great position for Jam, but he does find the one. Eventually finished off, and we're going the full distance Monkey all the way to the last round. And Fury's still in this game, still with the draw on the table.
So that's what I mean, right? Fury, they look so great some rounds. And then other rounds, you know, they're cruising along and they fall flat on their face.
I mean, what was it that they were doing that round that really made such a difference? I think, personally, it was that information gathering and that, you know, they called out. just like calculated plays moving together as a team. It's like on Bank. The thing that we really praised Fury for was when they played that position, they got into Garage with the drone to take out the Maestro player, and that opened up the whole round. And, you know, it's a team coordinated effort. And likewise here, we had the Echo drone calling out the position for the Mozzie to get a C4 kill. If Fury are making these good team plays, calculated.
So Fury have decided that Bar is their third bomb site choice, Dev. The first time we've seen it all night, and it's going to be in the final round here.
Yeah, well, they don't really seem too keen on going back to Kitchen. They can't go back to Hookah.
Well, they can't go back to Kitchen because they won it 2 ago.
Oh, that's right.
So they could go to Penthouse, of course.
Yeah, it's true. We haven't seen them on Penthouse yet. But looks like Bar is their preference. Now it's up to Zealous. What is their attack like for this map, for this bomb site? I wouldn't be surprised to see an office take, actually. You know, Zealous have been interested in going for these kind of, you know, not necessarily the standard takes. You know, usually we don't see teams always push office on this site. Just hasn't been meta recently.
It's just like, you know, if you're an attacker and can get your way in behind the bomb next to the exit, you know, you've pretty much got a free plant. There's so many crossfires, it's so hard for the defenders to retake that area, but we'll see.
Also depends on how they hold this site. You know, this is one of those sites which is, it's been explored a decent amount now, but there are still different ways to hold it. Opening up that wall from the blue bomb site into the open area in the middle is a common tactic. Prevents the attackers from really having any kind of safe plant spot inside of blue bar, because obviously there are lots of angles you can use from through that open area from lobby or elsewhere.
Rock's taking some early damage. Readjustment of the utility. Wonder where Rock took that damage from.
I feel like Rock's always taking early damage.
Yeah.
Even when it's in the prep phase from his teammates. Zealous have whipped out the line as well. Nazgul's been flipping around on this attacking side, really struggling. You know, on Bank, he was the one making the difference on their attacking rounds. And here on Coastline, I don't know, is it map dependent? Is it because he's been forced to take more initiative on the IGLing side of things? But he's just not had the same impact.
Where was Rock just then? We saw him.
It was top of
okay.
stairs.
There
yeah.
we go.
Jam finds that one kill. I don't know, Rock always seems to be just, you know, the wild card walking around by himself. Never a player to refrag him.
Well, either way, it is Fury going to be fighting at a man disadvantage here, Dev. So the drone's going to come on out.
They're fighting from behind, and you can see Nazgul, as I mentioned earlier, bringing the line. He does have 2 more EE1D charges.
I think you're right about this office push, Dev. Like, they're all stacked up here now.
I just had a feeling they were going to go for an office push. I don't know why. Seems like, you know, Zealous want to go for what seems, in theory, more simple.
Ooh.
Perfect trade for Shade and Nazgul. I believe that's the IGL of either side. Now they can sit back, but as all the smoke's gone from Fury, it's a critical error, potentially. It's such a valuable utility. Jam has been stepping up in this game. Takes down Spruce, but Warden finds a kill of his own. Just the 2 players left. Just 1 left for Fury. This could be the round to get Zealous the win. So close. They fell to a draw on map number 1, but Warden wants to fight for that same thing here. 2 players left for Zealous, 20 seconds. And he's taken down. There you go, JCZ with that peek. Just narrowly finding the angle, and Zealous. JCZ finding the final kill to revenge against his former team. We don't have a draw, Monkey. We have a victory.
Yep, and Zealous have managed to scrape it there. I really do feel like overall Zealous do not deserve the win here. The way,
wow.
Like
Harsh
honestly,
words.
no. You know, as biased as I may be, because you know I had predicted Fury to win this week. I think Fury played so much better as a team, and you look at the clutch count, right? What was it, 4-0? Those 4 rounds go the other way, and we have got Fury walking away with all 6 points here, Dev.
But that's the thing, right? You know, if Zealous had these clutches, they were willing to step up in those individual situations, and they made good. You know, that doesn't happen without Fury making mistakes. And I feel like if you make that many mistakes, then I don't think you deserve the win.
I don't think that Zealous deserve the win if, your opponents are making mistakes either, Dev.
I guess that's one point, but maybe you're saying that they both deserve to draw. Neither of them deserve to win. You're not saying that Fury deserved to win, but neither of them did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just Fury looked so much better, but then they lose anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was a 6-6 and then a 5-7 here on map number 2. Not going to rub it in your face, but I did predict that.
Yeah, well, I'll just say you got lucky for once, all right?
Yeah, it happens. Oh, well. So, look, Fury and Zealous, I feel like coming into this match, we had expectations for both teams. Fury was the favored on map number 1, and I believe that flipped over to Zealous for the community vote in map number 2. What was it that you think maybe made that flip over, and why, they turned out to be correct? What was it that really made that that community vote slip over?
I honestly think, they thought they were going to continue that fragging power from Nazgul. Of course, he didn't.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's actually not what happened.
Yeah.
Nazgul really didn't show up on this map. Not at all. I didn't take particular note to the final scoreboard and where he was placed on that, but we did see the rest of Zealous step up. Jam in particular, he was asleep for the first part of of map number 1, and then I think ever since the last few rounds of Bank, he did step up, and on that second map, Coastline, he did certainly have a big impact. A lot of those crucial entry frags.
Yeah, I reckon we're also seeing from Fury just an inability to close out games.
And what is that? What does that come down to, though?
It's either the mental side of things, or they just need to, tighten things up, right? Like, we talk about how loose they play and kind of puggish, right? And, when it comes down to the 4-on-3 with 30 seconds to go, and they're losing that, you think, well, okay, like why are they playing so loose? Like, why are they losing players in one-on-one gunfights?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the time Fury just plays the same thing. They might have 1 or 2 players on the roster who switch something up, but every single round of defense, Rock goes and roams somewhere by himself. And he might get a 2K, or he might get 0 kills and die. And I feel like in that entire series, more so it was just that he'd get 0 kills and die.
Yeah, like, I did say on map 1, I feel like Rock was the player that was holding him back, like, in that map. Like, there was a few times where he missed shots, and that's probably not what you want from their player roaming. Yeah,
but you shouldn't just be like, if that's not working, then it doesn't mean that, okay, Rock's not doing your job, you're out, mate. It should be like, you should be playing in a position where you work to the strengths of the team.
Yeah.
If Rock is trying to do a job that's just not possible for 1 man, give him 2 men. Like, or don't put a player there at all. Go for a retake. Like, but every single time I feel like Fury were like, all right, Rock, this is your position, or this is your roam, go do it, and he would die. That's just
complete
not enough.
Lack of adaptation, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can't just always keep brute forcing that same strategy. So we had a close, both close games, 12 rounds apiece. But, still just in favor of Zealous. But like you're saying, maybe they don't really fully deserve it. I don't know. It's pretty even in my eyes. Like, which of these is the better team? Can we call that even?
Like, you agree with me as well. Fury were playing better as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. The team players from Fury, the calculated information and relaying that to make a play, absolutely.
100% on paper, Fury should be winning this.
I don't know. I think individually they didn't play as well, and that was the crucial thing, especially because, I don't know. Individually, that was the big question. And, there's a combination of both of those things. You could have a team that plays really well coordinated, and if they still just let 1 player from the enemy team come in and 3K them, then that's, the team's not playing good enough.
It's one of those things that is very hard to, completely pin down in Siege, right? Like, it's something that, I've been having a long-running conversation over the last couple of days of, like, you can say, yes, this works, so obviously it's the best thing to do, but, when it comes down to it, like, it may work that one time, but it's putting you in that habit of doing this thing because you think it works, and suddenly it's not working anymore, but you're still in the habit of thinking that's the right thing to do, and so... Yeah.
Well, we can speculate until the cows come home, but why don't we actually talk to some of these players? Spruce from Fury is ready for his interview. G'day, Spruce. My goodness, that's quite an outfit. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Yourself? Oh, shit. Hey, pen. Oh, well, can't do much about that.
It's all right. We all drop our pens occasionally. Spruce, true Aussie bloke. So you had a good game today, maybe not so good on map number 2, but I thought just to kick it off here, first time on the main Rainbow Six channel, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself as a player for Rainbow Six, and maybe a bit about Team Fury and the history there.
Yeah, I'm Spruce Moose, formerly known as James Fever. I've been playing Siege since came out of the womb, really. It's been an interesting experience so far. Went from the womb to PS4 and then the PS4 to the PC. Been here for about a year and a half, and then I came up from a lower team like low key. We moved up from there into Fury, and the team, we've had some tough times recently. I won't lie. It's hard to focus on Siege 24/7 when you're, a tradie like myself. It's bloody, a bit hard. So, we just keep working hard at it. We can only do as much as we can, and we try to do it.
Yeah, well, mixed results, right? But you did have a LAN experience recently, which was, I believe, your first LAN experience. A couple of your teammates had done one before, but what was that like?
It's bloody stoking, mate. It was good fun. I was tweaking out a bit on stage, but to take a map off Fnatic, that's something I'll hold deeply in my heart for the rest of my days as a gamer.
Right. So Spruce, you guys definitely did struggle tonight, and I was saying to Dev that I think you guys on paper are expected to win. Like, would you agree with me on that assessment?
Yeah, 100%. We in those late game stages is where we're really letting ourselves down. We're trying to identify what we need to fix. We're playing with a sub right now. We need to We need to hurry up and find a new core. That'll help us out a lot. Praise to Golden, you're doing a good job. Sometimes, but it's on paper. Yeah, I think we're the better team, but game. It's not an individual game, so we found that out today, clearly.
All right, so before we wrap this up, I wanted to get your thoughts on Mozzie. You played a lot of Mozzie, and I mean, obviously yourself, true Aussie bloke out here, playing a true blue Aussie operator. Tell me about what it's like to play one of your kinsmen.
He's one of my boys, I get around him. I went to the pub yesterday and I caught up with him. He was like, "Hey, how are you, buddy?" I was like, "Yeah, get a VB in ya." And so we did. We got a VB in us. And he's a pretty good bloke, I'd like to think, and he's got a good gadget, pretty solid gadget. When they ban out actually better not reveal any more strats. But when they ban out a certain operator, I am forced to use him. So, I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, it's all right. I speculated that in the analysis anyway, so that strat's already been revealed.
You got a big brain, Jimmy boy.
Oh, thanks,
big
mate.
brain, mate.
Thanks. You too, Jimmy.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up now. Anything you want to say to, I'm sure, the thousands of fans that you have just earned by doing this interview?
I don't know about that, mate. Keep with us. We're going to try and persevere. We're not happy with these results, obviously. We just got to fix some things, really. It's simple as that.
All right. Good job playing tonight, Spruce, and enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll catch you next week.
You too, buddy. Love.
I think he was saying love you at the end, was he? He just cut off?
Well, my first thought was he was saying good luck, but that doesn't make sense, does it?
No, I'm just going to, I'd like to think that he loves me.
Love you too, Spruce.
We went out for pizza once, so not trying to brag or anything, but we shared a pizza.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I don't really remember what, it was some weird toppings and stuff. Yeah, he blamed me for picking the weird pizza, but that's okay. Oh well, it happens.
Well, yeah, I really would have to agree that they are not quite there yet, and it clearly is they're having issues late round as we saw throughout the whole thing, and they did just get styled on by some individual players as well.
Yeah, and I guess as Spruce, he was talking about some of the he said he didn't want to reveal the strats, but it was when the Valkyrie was banned, he was clearly picking the Mozzie. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. So, I don't know, do you feel like, let's say the Valkyrie wasn't banned, would the Valkyrie have helped them at all on those defenses, and in what ways?
Well, it really depends if they're gathering that information on site or just outside of the site. Like we see, I suppose the main difference with Valkyrie is that she can have her cameras outside of the map, or outside of the building, I should say, gathering that information from where they are outside. So maybe.
All right, let's have a talk to one of the players from Zealous. Striking is ready for his interview. G'day, Striking. Welcome back to Pro League, and congratulations on your first victory in Season 10.
Cheers, man. I appreciate that.
So obviously you did play formally in the Pro League for a different roster, and Zealous is just a roster that's come to Challenge League this season. Why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of yourself as a competitive player in Rainbow Six and the history of your team, Zealous?
Yeah, so most of my experience from competitive actually comes from my time beginning in Element 6 around Red Crow. I believe Red Crow's this season with Havana. Yep. Brought in by Jam to perform on the Element 6 roster. As we know, as some of the people in this stream may know, Element 6 eventually transformed. Some of the players, Joey G, Northix, Jam, went to Debut. I went my separate ways. We've just happened to come back together with the Zealous roster in its original formation, coming together in 2017 under a very different circumstance and different roster. Come through last 2 years, worked with a consistent core group of about 3 people, made Pro League a couple of times, not really shown up to the degree we want. Hopefully this season's one where we can stick it out.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys had Nazgul on the first map go absolutely nuts. What's the secret there? Was it him just going ham, or was it team-based as well?
To be honest with Naz, he's not a loose cannon, but sometimes you've just got to let the dogs out of the cage, and he did show up on Bank. A lot of it is with him droning himself in. We do give him a bit of that X factor. We have always had that in the team a little bit. There is occasions like the Dockerby clutch and whatnot where he does have intel fed to him, which aids him immensely. When he's given those opportunities, he will take them. It's one of those things where a player like that is potent on their own, but when combined with intel and the like, they're almost unstoppable, as you saw on stream. And we're very happy to have him in the team.
Yeah, I mean, you guys turned up as a team, and there were a lot of individual players that really were highlights for me. I thought that maybe you could tell us a little bit about the roles of some of the different players on the team. You highlighted Naz, but yourself, you've had, I think, played a series of different roles on your previous rosters. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that and some of the other players on the team and how you function maybe differently to other teams in the league.
I think we stick to a pretty stock standard formula. A lot of players in Siege in general, because coming from a CS background, everyone's pretty flexible on what they do. Siege players tend to have more of a preference in what they are good at and what they can stick to. At least in this team, we do try to flex out a little bit. I personally am not particularly fussed on which operator I play, as long as it helps us win. Couldn't care less. There are preferences for me that I believe can be strategically viable. Mozzie, for example, is something we've been experimenting with. We don't know if we're sticking with that. But there is a lot of variables we consider. Jam typically plays entry, but like I said, our roles can be very fluid. On certain pushes, Jam ends up droning, and he does a great job of it. But our primary entry fraggers are actually intended to be Jam and JC. But Naz and myself occasionally have to take the front, depending on how the opponent sets up and depending how the match is going overall, because we have certain players who have off days. We've got a roster that tends to bounce around from which player's on fire and which ones aren't, so we tend to swap up the roles sometimes depending on who's performing.
Well, Dev and I were talking a lot through the match, and it's also something I was asking Spruce about just then. Like, I was saying I rate Fury as a better team than you guys, and I think they played better, but you guys got the win, and you guys got 4 clutches through the match. Like, do you think that's a fair assessment, or is there something I'm not seeing behind the scenes here?
I think that's mostly a fair assessment. I'd have to disagree with Fury necessarily being a blatantly better team. A keystone of games like this is you need to be able to close them out. We've struggled with that on end, and Fury are a great team, but I equally think we can be just as strong, if not better. And tonight we did come out on top. Whether that was through clutches or not, that's up for debate. We did clutch quite a few rounds, and there were some rounds that maybe shouldn't have gone our way. But I like to think that we had the intel up that we needed to make those things happen. And I just have, for the benefit of the team, I think that's the way we go. We play those strengths. We don't play weaknesses.
So it sounds like you are quite optimistic. You're saying Fury may be a really good team, but you guys think you can be just as good or better, which was demonstrated tonight, I think. I mean, moving forward, expectations for the rest of your season, I think that, you can only go upwards coming in straight from Challenger League. So if there's anything you want to say to any potential fans that you may be gaining here, or anyone just watching, maybe you want to convert them into a fan, what have you got to say?
Oh, not a whole lot. Wouldn't mind a Mountain Dew sponsorship or two. Thirsty over here.
All right, thanks for your time, Strike, and good luck next week.
No worries. Good luck.
See, we got the good luck that time. So
Well-
it's nice, you know. We give all these luck to the players, and sometimes they give some back.
Well, you know, yeah, very informative interview there. He's a very calm and collected guy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a stark contrast, isn't it, as well? Like, you know, we had Spruce, and then we had Striking.
Good eye, mate.
Oh, well, anyhow. So we got more matches coming up later today. August versus Sinister. Who do you reckon's going to win? Go to all our socials. Get your word in. It's, look, you're right so far, pretty much. Like that Zealous win, you guys called it. See if you can call the next one. It'll be a close game, I hope. I think Sinister might have something to show for us. I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah. All right, that's going to come up very shortly, so don't go anywhere. August versus Sinister right after this short break.